Scrappers, it's Vanessa here, and I thought before my process that I would go ahead and show a quick tutorial on the We Are Memory Keepers tab punch board and just a quick view of how it works. If you have any comments, be sure to leave them down below and I'd be happy to answer them. So the first thing that you do is you take this little piece of plastic, I don't know what they really call it, but it's just a little placeholder that I apparently can't hold on to, but you just go ahead and you stick it in the second set of holes. This first set actually just rounds the corner of your paper if you wanted this rounded. So if you want to do that, you put it in here first, punch, and then move it over. In this case, I'm not really concerned about that, so I'm just going to put it in and see it's gone ahead and done the punch. Now obviously for this one I'm looking at doing this first one and having the tab be here on the end. So once I've done that, I just go ahead and put that back. This only fits in, you'll know you're putting it in right in the fact that it only goes in one way and goes all the way down, so you can't push it down any further. So it's really easy, not hard to figure out. So once I do that first one, I just go ahead and flip my paper over, and then there's three, it's hard to see them, you probably might not pick it up on camera, but there's three grooves here, and basically it says small, medium, and large, so you can decide how large you want your tab to be. So for demonstration purposes, I'm just going to do a medium, so I'm going to put it in the second one, and I'm just lining up the curve with that curve that they have on the tool, and I'm just going to go ahead and punch. And there you can see I've gone ahead and made my tab. So all you do then is you just put it in here for the cutting, and you take your little tool, and it has this little circle knob. That circle fits in this groove in here, and then your blade goes on the outside. So just go ahead, line it up. Let's see if I can show that. So see how it's going right in there? I just go ahead, put that in, and scan across. Everything's dropping out of my hands today. But there you go, that is your tab. And so this just goes to show you, you do it the same way, whether you want to do it for this end or this end. And basically, if I flip my paper over, here it is on that end. This works if I'm using just a solid piece of cardstock. If I had a different pattern, I would want to repeat, I'd want to repeat that same process, but flip the paper over, punch it first here, flip it back over, line it up with where I want my tab to be, punch it, and then my tab would be on this side. So I'll show that really quick. So take your thing out again. So we'll just pretend that this is a piece of pattern paper. We'll just pretend that this is a piece of pattern paper. And you just go ahead and punch that down, and then you would flip it over. And again, punch that down, and there you go. You would have your tab on the correct side, in this case on another piece of, if it was a pattern paper that actually made a difference. And again, we'll put our tool in the groove, cut across, and we have our punch, or our tab. So now you can see that I have a tab at both ends. So to do the middle tab, you just take your paper and you put it anywhere that you want. So if you only want it like part of the way in, then just put it part of the way in. It just depends on where you're going to place your paper. But you'd go ahead and move all these little scraps out. You'd go ahead and punch, flip your paper over again and line it up with whatever size you want your tab to be. And go ahead and punch again. So now you see, in this one's case, I now have a tab that's going to be in the middle. So when I put this into my cutter, and obviously my paper's a little bit longer than what's on this board, but it's easy enough to just adjust it. So there, I'm going to cut that end, and I didn't have it all the way in, but you get the gist. Oops. I apparently can't hold on to anything tonight. Alright, and then you just put the other side in, go ahead and cut that off, and voila! We have a tab that is now in the more centered of this paper, and we have the 3 tabs, so then I can put them together like that, and so that just goes to show you can put, excuse me, you can put a tab wherever you want on your piece of pattern paper. And like I said, the only way, or the only thing you have to do is change or flip over your paper depending on whether you want a tab at this end or this end. So if I wanted it, if it was patterned and I wanted the tab to be at this end, then I would flip it over, do my punch, flip it back to the correct side, and go ahead and line it up with the size tab that I wanted. So that, guys, is just a really quick review of the tab punch board. I do love it. It's a fun tool to use. It's very simple and quick and easy. So if you have any questions, like I said, just leave them at the end of this video, and I will go into the process video, and you'll see that in my process I have gone ahead and cut some of these tabs and used them in my layout. So I will talk to you guys later. Bye-bye. Hey scrappers, so now we are getting into the process for this layout, and I'm just going through and showing you everything that I pulled for this layout. And for once, most of everything that I'm showing you does get used on the page. And so for this one, the first thing that I showed you there were I used my Silhouette, which is the tool that I'm using for this one, along with that file tab punch board. And I die cut for my Silhouette 2 pink flamingos, because guess what? I'm going very themey on this layout, and I'm scrapbooking about flamingos. So, you know, I decided all these, or a lot of the summer collections that I pulled to create layouts for June and July had flamingos. So I thought, let's see how many flamingos that I can put on this page and just use them up, because I don't mind putting a random flamingo on a scrapbook page. I'm fine with that, but I figured, hey, I have pictures of flamingos from the zoo, so why not take them out and scrap them on this page, and it can go in our album, our family album, and be part of the zoo collection of photos. So that is what we're doing. So the first thing that I'm doing here is I'm just showing you, we are going to do some mixed media on the background. I'm just using a piece of regular, I believe this is just American Crafts white cardstock, and I'm pretty sure it is, at least, and I did not gesso it, so I'm not using a lot of water. Everything that I'm going to do is going to be very light in the fact that I'm trying to not put a lot of water on this paper and make it warp the paper too much. I'm a lazy scrapbooker, so I really, for this one, I was not in the mood to take it out and gesso the page and wait for it to dry, so I wanted to do mixed media, but I'm lazy and I didn't want to wait for gesso and then do everything. So you saw me cross my fingers, because I basically put the flamingo die cuts on the page, and then I kind of traced around in general where I was thinking they were going to go. And so basically all I'm doing, again, if you have never done mixed media, it can't be any simpler. Like the last 2 layouts that I've done with mixed media, with the stripes on the last layout and then this one with the flamingos, all I did was kind of trace in a general area where my cutouts for my flamingos were going to go. And all I'm doing is literally taking multiple shades of pink. The pinks that I'm using are Vibes Sweetheart. I believe the other one was Bahama Mama, which is an inkling from Shimmers. And I think the other one was Pinkaboo from Inklings, and I have an Inklings in Blushing Snowman. And so I'm just taking a combination of those, and I'm literally just dabbing it on in the general vicinity of where I put that little markings for where the flamingos were going to go, just like that, just like you're seeing. It couldn't be more simple. So I challenge you guys, if you don't do mixed media regularly, give this a try. I wasn't looking for perfection. One of my flamingos has some more yellow outside of where the flamingo cut file is, but you know what? It just lends itself to the fun and playful nature of this layout. And honestly, it cannot be easier. So that's my challenge to you guys. Give it a try. I promise you, there's nothing to be intimidated about. So now that my page is off and drying, I am going to go ahead and do my photos, and I'm going to back my photos with all of these little tabs that I created on my tab punch board. So I went ahead and cut 4 different pattern papers. I made 4 different tabs. So I have like a wood grain, and then I have 2 pink pieces that came from a 6x6, and I believe the collection that I was using was the let me look. Let me see. I believe it's the Summer Dreams, the 6x6, and then that green piece of paper, I believe that was from Crate Paper's The Pier collection, I think. So I just combined these couple of 6x6s and then this green 12x12 page, and I'm just going to, like I said, layer them all up. That green piece is going to be the one that kind of goes across the whole both photos, like where the other ones you can't really see them peeking out the sides, they're really just to the tab at the top, but the green is going to go all the way around my photos. And it matches, all the colors sort of match the colors in the photo. The flamingos are pink, and they're green reflection of the water and the bushes and things around where the flamingos are. So everything kind of just coordinates. I'm going for a very sort of yellow and green kind of feel for this layout. So there you go. My background paper is dry, and see now when I lay those flamingos, I didn't want to do the whole paper backing of the flamingos, so that's why I opted for this mixed media background. And so like you can see, the background isn't perfect, but it fits perfectly with those flamingos over top. It looks like, and if you can, when you see in the pictures at the end, you can see how shimmery they are with the shimmers paints in the background. I really like how it turned out. It was a fun layout to put together for sure. So here I am just going through everything that I pulled and showed at the beginning of the video. Just lots of different florals. I made a cluster of florals on top of the backs of each of the flamingos, and then I have one other cluster that's there in between the 2 photos at the bottom of the page. And like I said, I am literally going through, I went through sort of all the collections that I pulled for this series, and I really just kind of said, does it have a flamingo? If it did, it made it in this pile, and I am literally going to put, tons of flamingos on this page, because, hey, why not, right? When there's flamingos in the picture, why not? So I'm going to back the entire layout on this piece of pattern paper, and I believe that piece again was from, I don't think it was Poolside, I'm pretty sure it was from the Pier, from Crate Paper. And again, these are all from, oh, actually, you know what? I'm looking at this now and I realized that I wasn't going to use that piece of pattern paper if it was from the Pier, so I used the back side. So it wasn't a white American Craft, it was actually a piece of pattern paper that I wasn't going to use. So see, I even take papers that I don't think I'm going to use the A side, and just have a white background on the back, and I use that for my mixed media. So there you go. Just a trick if you run out of white paper. This was me too lazy to go get a piece of white paper, so I just used the back of one. But whatever. So here I'm just going to work on my title, and I'm putting my title up here at the top, and I'm titling this one Pretty in Pink, because flamingos are pretty in pink. They are one of my favorites, and living here in Florida, there's certainly plenty of places to find flamingos, for sure. So one of the last things that I'm going to do on the layout is go ahead and put these pink sequins from Jelly Bean Soup. And like I said, I have the 4 clusters, and I have a flamingo, at least one flamingo shows up in each of the clusters. I also put a little label down beside that little flamingo off to the right, and that is where I'm going to actually put my date. And you'll see here, excuse me, I am going to go, and I do pull out some puffy stickers. I believe they're from Pebbles. You'll see here in a second, and there are little tiny puffy flamingos, and so I'm going to end up putting those on the page here in a second. But before that, I grabbed one other flamingo from the, I believe this was Summer Vibes collection, because again, I can't have too many flamingos. And I fussed around for a few minutes trying to see if I wanted to use this word sticker up here on this other flamingo, but after I put it in 10,000 different places, I finally decide no, I'm not going to use it. And I think I actually end up putting just a little pink heart up in that corner. Yes, there you go. That's how that one finishes. And here's those little puffy flamingos, because of course we can't have enough flamingos, so why not add a few more? So I'm just going to stick those again in a couple of places on the layout. And I also put that little label down by that flamingo's foot because I kind of felt like he was floating a little bit, so the label actually helped ground it, and it gave me a place, like I said, to put my date. And I will tell you that there's no story for these. They're flamingos. They were at the zoo. We like flamingos, so we stop and watch the flamingos for a little bit. And so I probably won't put any journaling. If I do, I'll put it on the back because I don't want to ruin the layout. And that really completes this one. So here are the still photos, and be sure to subscribe if you're liking the videos, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye.